welcome to the next episode of the Backstory on Marketing and AI. If you haven't already done so, please visit prorelevant.com and sign up for all these episodes and podcasts. I am the author of the upcoming book, The AI Marketing Machine, and you can find out more information on that at marketingmachine.prorelevant.com. Today, I'm interviewing Ken Rapp with Bluestream. And before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about him. He is the CEO and co-founder of Bluestream. It's a company transforming how brands build loyalty, reduce churn, and drive revenue post-sale by owning the product experience. With over 2 decades of experience in digital transformation and customer experience, Ken has consistently led the way in connecting technology to meaningful business outcomes. Ken, welcome. So good to have you.
Thank you, Guy.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us what's your backstory on AI and marketing? How did you get into this area?
Yeah, I think you might call me an unmet need entrepreneur. And so the reason that I started heading in this path was actually a cracked guitar. So I live here in the Boston area, and in a very cold, dry New England winter, and I play a lot of guitar. I'm a guitarist in a classic rock band, and love going out and playing. So I know guitars, but I bought a new brand, a certain guitar, and I had no idea that it was in distress. And so one day I went to pick that guitar up in particular, and I could feel on the body that there was a crack forming. And I asked myself, why didn't that guitar actually talk to me? Or the brand or the company that I bought the guitar from have a connection to me to help me support and nurture my new baby, this new beautiful acoustic guitar. And so at that time, looking around for how could you give a guitar or a company, a brand, the ability to advise and guide one of their customers after the sale through that ownership process. AI is clearly a technology in the portfolio of technologies that we use to make that job happen, to nurture a new relationship that has a lot of value and meaning for me in particular, and very personalized to my experience, my skill level, what kind of music I like to play, how often I play, and things like that. So that's really that. Just maybe we're coming up on a time when it's a great new tool in the toolkit, the toolbox for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like and that is a great story. I love that. And and post sale is so important because it's much easier, as we all know, to sell to existing customers than it is to win a new customer. So tell us a little bit specifically about Bluestream and where Bluestream fits in.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So we're really all about that unmet need or blue ocean that starts after the sale. There's lots of excellent systems we all use for our CRM and campaigns, and what we do for beautiful websites and e-commerce stores. And we can even track a product or a package all the way to the doorstep of our customer. But then from that moment on, unless the customer has a problem, which is good news if they call you or they reach out because they're struggling, there is really no connection. And of course, we offer coupons or ask for reviews of our product, but it's that entire space of product ownership that is the opportunity to be connected to your customer. And as you had said earlier, a connected customer, is 10 times better than getting a new customer in terms of your cost basis. So we started focusing on what is the product ownership experience from the doorstep to delight is what we call it. And so what we really focused in on was there's 3 stages or phases of product ownership. One is to unbox the product. And based on my skill level am I a beginner or an intermediate, or have I had this product 10 times, is different guidance that I might need along that onboarding, the unboxing and onboarding process. And then the second phase of ownership is usage. How often do I actually use the product? Maybe I'm taking supplements every day. Maybe I'm only eating smoothies, when I'm at the office 5 days a week. And so how I'm using the product and why I'm using the product is all about the usage dialogues that you can have with a customer. And then finally, maintenance and care. So I had mentioned a cracked guitar as kind of what started Bluestream. There's a lot of maintenance and care around a guitar that if a brand could nurture that relationship, they've got a connected customer on the other end of that relationship. They'll reduce the number of support calls coming in because you can send the right do-it-yourself tips at exactly the right time. So Bluestream is all about that post-sale experience in between the pre-sale customer acquisition marketing systems.
Interesting. I could imagine, though, that for some types of products or some types of businesses, it might be easier or more difficult. So, like a digital native business might be able to get it right, whereas in your case, the guitar, that post-purchase engagement and experience is kind of broken. And why do you see that? What are the reasons behind that?
Well, that's a really important point. I've recently got a new iPhone, which is a digital experience, and it was fantastic. It found my internet, and then it had me put the old phone next to the new phone, and the next thing it said push a button, and all my old files moved over. That's a fantastic digital experience. But if you have a box arrive on your front door with a new pair of sneakers and you're on your own to know how often to change the insoles, or what do I do if it's going to be raining out, or even better example might be some special protein powders or supplements because I'd like to do a 10K at the end of the summer. Now that customer is on their own, and it's a lost opportunity to have that same digitized digital edge experience with a physical good or a service when that customer is no longer with you. And I have a great story for you. So one of our customers explained to me when she first started her business, and it's a probiotic for dogs business. She knew every dog's name, every pet parent's name. She knew that the Springer Spaniel that is exercising and taking walks after work 10 minutes a day is different than the Chihuahua that's in the handbag with its pet parent. And she could make personal recommendations to all of those customers that she had. But she was successful. And as she was successful and her business grew, she could no longer directly connect with all those customers and keep nurturing this value added relationship. And so they've used Bluestream to automate those dialogues and what we call a product experience journey. And those product experiences are now automatically happening in her voice to her customers, and they're two-way dialogue. So question about, geez, how's Daisy feeling? Is she having any stomach pain? Can you tell? And the customer may say, well, yes, still not working. Because an interesting thing about probiotics or supplements or protein powders is or hair growth products, they don't happen overnight. It takes a little
Mhm.
time to onboard. And so setting that expectation absolutely prevents churn. It drives repeat sales and loyal customers. So what we love to do is to work with brands and let them connect into that customer and create these dialogues or journeys. And we've got a bunch of templates and some tools that make it really easy to just start engaging with customers after the sale. And you'll see that customer is going to buy more. So you're driving up revenue. They're going to do it themselves when it comes to some tips or tricks about how to defrost that food on the countertop rather than overflow the freezers, and also drive reviews. So we see a huge uplift in great reviews when you can nurture that customer relationship over the first 30 days, 60 days.
Yeah, I can imagine that product usage data has to be incredibly valuable and really understanding that, and then also providing tips so that it gets used more, whatever. And then I guess you'd have things like refill reminders or upsell opportunities and stuff like that. So how do brands leverage that? How are they using AI to leverage that?
So the AI it's a great question because there's a lot of noise out there in the line about AI, and we're all trying it, and asking questions and things. But we're very cautious about, hallucinations and recommending the wrong things. And so we actually use it under our hood. I call it controlled AI. And what we do is we look at our data lake of millions and millions of data points from interactions that we then look and see what's the best cadence of communication to this particular type of customer. So I bought some smoothies. I'm a beginner, never had smoothies, didn't even know you can use almond milk to mix them up, and didn't know that if you have a smoothie before you work out, it's better than if you have it after you work out. And so what we do is we use our data lake and we look at what cadence, when should Ken get this kind of message about usage or about putting it in the freezer or about defrosting it. And so the cadence and the content is what I talk about. The AI under the hood that we have is looking at what's the best timing for the next question or the next link back to your website. Because it's interesting, Guy, most of our customers have all the content in the world that a customer could use on that ownership journey over years, months, quarters, years. But as customers, after they purchased the product, we all go away and then we search the internet and we get other alternatives to buy things for cross sell, upsell, like you were describing. But if you have a customer that's connected to your brand virtually we use SMS, a lot of text messages, or that's got a very high open rate. We use WhatsApp, we use some internet messaging. Doesn't really matter what the vehicle is, but the dialogues going on really create this nurtured relationship. And so the content delivered at exactly the right moment is what AI is great at looking at. Like, oh, what messaging is not working, but what messaging is working? There's a higher click rate or conversion rate on a recommended cross sell. Like buying supplements and then finding out that if you asked me, I'm taking the supplements because I want to run a 10K at the end of the summer. Well, by the way, the supplement company also provides protein powders, and maybe
Hmm.
I'm a perfect candidate for a cross sell. If you just asked me that other question, which we have super high engagement rate coming in from these product experience journeys. So without AI, it's a much harder job to really be combing through the data lake and finding out what's going on with a variety of different product types and consumers, skill levels and experiences.
Yeah, that sounds phenomenal, and and I really like the focus on the that post purchase time frame when if you can get that right, then they can be a customer for life, and and I like your point. So how do you kind of work to get the optimal timing and the optimal message? Where is AI fitting in there? How are you actually implementing that?
Awesome question. And we have a link that we provide to what we call our product experience journey builder. And we have a journey builder technology that's powered by AI, where all you do is put in your company name and a product name or a product category name, and it will go out and it will check out all the content that's publicly available on your website, because you've probably got guides and startup guides or quick starts and maintenance guides. We'll read all of those and then compare them to the cadence of our existing install base and all those millions of interactions, and then provide you with two things. One is a roadmap of where you might want to have dialogues with your customers. We look at pre-delivery. For example, do you need batteries for that particular product that someone bought from you, or do you need almond milk before you have a bad experience where they unboxed it and don't have the almond milk to mix up
Hmm.
your smoothies? So pre-arrival and then onboarding, or post-arrival and unboxing and onboarding. And we're careful that unboxing is only a moment, but onboarding is a 30 to 60-day period of helping a customer come up the curve on falling in love with your product and making it a behavior. And then we have recommendations on the ongoing usage dialogues that are available to your brand and your product. and then finally some care and maintenance dialogue. So Journey Builder, will provide any company, and you can go on there. It's up on our website, and just put in your company name and put in a product name, and it'll give you those. The second
Hmm.
thing that it does is it literally provides you with a workflow that is executable or runnable on our software. So it's a workflow, it's a flow chart that will show you all the questions and what happens with the branches and answers. And you simply go into our technology, our platform in the cloud, and it'll be ready for you to edit, maybe change a few words here or there, put in your links, and then you can run it. So we use AI to power an amazing thing that 5 years ago wasn't really possible. It would have to be hand stitched together. Now you just put in a company name and a product name, and you're pretty much ready to rock and roll.
Wow, that's really fascinating. And it's what I really enjoy about listening to you is that taking a clear business problem, a pain, or it might even be latent in that it's quite often companies see the ship date as kind of the end of their activity, and so they don't necessarily see that follow on and how valuable that can be, and then being able to optimize that and generate a kind of a customer for life is so valuable. And I like what you've done in terms of how the AI is now kind of an agent that's working to really optimize this post purchase experience. One thing though that can happen, especially if you do this in an unguided way, this post-purchase experience, is that you can over email or over message, or you get inbox or SMS or WhatsApp fatigue. I mean, I know I'm getting it with some of the things, and I just, at some point you just want them to turn off. It's just too much. And so have you seen that? Do you see that as a problem? And does the AI then help your customers' marketing team to really improve that?
Great question. We all have fatigue. I mean, email is just white noise now, right? So, and text is on its way there. So very, very important design concept here is what we call intelligent queuing of messaging. So what you want to do is make sure, even if you have two or three messages that are ready to go, to look back contextually in the prior history of the messaging and make sure the right message goes out at the right cadence. And what we like to look at is the cadence being driven by the consumer. So it's actually personalizing the timeline and the next message based on their cadence. For example, we have keywords that we provide to our clients who then provide to their consumers that you can say next, or I'm ready, or it's time to set up that fish tank. Yes, I can do that now. Or I'm now back from my jog and I have a question. So it's very important to have an intelligent queuing ability to only deliver a message to a customer when they want that message. And one of the stats that we track is the percentage of connected consumers on behalf of all of our brands and great customers that we work with, which just says consumers want help with products. They literally, your listeners, they want your help to have a great experience. But if they bought it online or if they bought it at a store, and as soon as they walked out the door, they're on their own. And what we really are passionate about, someday every product will come with an automated assistant. And that's what AI is helping us power. And by the way, the value there is incredible. So in the unboxing onboarding period, we don't ask for someone to leave a review. We ask them how they're doing after 15 to 30 days. If they say they're not doing well, right then and there, we'll run them over to your support line and we'll get them
Mm.
help proactively. If they say they're doing great, we ask them, would you be willing to leave a review and tell a friend? And we give them the link right to wherever your brand wants to have your reviews and tell a friend. Then they start using the product. And when we know what usage is all about, whether it's I play my guitar 2 hours a week, or if I play it 6 hours a week, I get different usage recommendations. Maybe I need lessons if I'm a beginner maybe I need new strings because I'm playing so much and I like to play out. So the messaging to the consumer is also hyper personalized to their needs at the time they want it. And then on care and maintenance, boy, don't we love reminders? Like, just remind me when it's time, to check the humidity on that guitar so that it never cracks. And so there's maintenance and care. By the way, that reduces the number of support calls that are going to come into a company, because if you can proactively say, hey, it's October, getting dry in the Boston area, have you checked your humidity? You're not going to
Hmm.
get a call in November or December from a dissatisfied customer whose guitar is cracking, which could actually cost that brand hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to replace that guitar, because the consumer simply didn't know any better yet. So there's three super measurable values by personalizing that ownership experience. The first one is reviews and referrals. The second one is driving revenue through cross sell, upsell, relevant cross sell, upsell. And the last one is, reducing support costs and around, recommendations. And these days, my kids and their all the future generations, even though I'm only 35 in here, clearly want to do it themselves and would prefer to have the tips provided to them rather than have to call somebody to get help.
Yeah, exactly. So how does that work though if, let's say, you're selling your product through Amazon and there really isn't necessarily a connection at that point to the actual consumer unless they somehow register? How do you get around that?
So most of our customers will have a club. This is a branding opportunity to call it the in our supplements and wellness products. A few of our customers call it the wellness concierge or their XYZ concierge, the product concierge. In other industries, it's the VIP club, a free VIP club to my consumer to keep them engaged and 5-star reviews and buying products and reducing my support costs. And all of that can be triggered. It's a great question you're asking, Guy. Can be triggered from the point of sale system. So whether it's a proprietary, checkout, or it's, a Shopify or a WooCommerce or whatever,
Hmm.
or you can use QR codes and you can have a QR code. Some of our customers have an insert in their product that says,
Mm.
free VIP club, just scan the QR code. Could be a link on an email campaign to, welcome to the family. And here's the new program we have to help you have a fantastic product experience. So there's a number of different ways to sign up, quote unquote, your customer and get them trigger them starting on the journeys, what we call the product experience journeys.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, yeah, it's interesting how that that whole process can work and and of course how much value it can offer. I'd love to be able to talk a little bit further, but at some point we've got a break. But I do have one last question for you, and that is, there was a recent article in Adweek that said that the number of new hires with little to no experience is really going down in a lot of the marketing departments. And so, what advice would you give to an up and coming new marketer that's trying to break in and beat out the AI that's otherwise, is potentially more knowledgeable, or certainly more knowledgeable, but has other flaws to it, of course. But so, what kind of advice would you give that new marketer?
Well, what a great question, Guy. I'm lucky enough to help um, young people through some college experiences, through a foundation I help out, which provides scholarships, and so I'm intimately aware of what you just said. The graduating seniors are struggling across the board. So first of all, it's not your fault. It's okay. It is what it is. Um, Secondly, the advice I would give is there is don't look for a perfect job. Look for a job where you can start to get to know a team and a culture, and I call it learn and earn. So learn about what's going on, embrace the tools, because these tools are tools. They're not designed to just replace someone, but if you're going to learn about a business and they need a blog put together instead of the old days taking a week to put together a blog and review it and let it settle and all that. Just get some help as an use AI as an assistant and think about it. Instead of one person being hired, you're coming to the table with some skills that can, if you can use AI to help you develop tools and marketing programs and things, you're actually telling the company that's hiring you that you've got it's one plus one. Maybe there, so you are an equivalent of two hires for the price of one because you know how to use the tools. And what I'm big on at Bluestream, we have lots of interns, and we have right now I have three marketing interns because and we pay them, but we do it more so to help them develop their career and experiences around the tools, around AI or around, I mean, every day there's new tools out there. So I would encourage the listeners not to be disheartened by the challenge because you're not alone. Everybody's facing it. And then to don't look for a perfect job, look for a place where you can learn and earn, but embrace these new tools because they're here to stay.
Yeah, you and I think you're so right. They are here to stay, and I like the point about learn and earn. You can't, once you graduate, you can't give up. You have to then, continue to try and add value to that whatever position that you're seeking, and it has to be significantly more than somebody else. And so, those people those graduates that can be very successful have to really work at it as if it's a full-time job, and maybe even more than that, work overtime to get that job and make sure that you really understand what's going on. Ken, thank you so much. Really appreciate it, and thank you so much for participating. So where can people learn more about you and your company?
Great. So be delighted to chat with any of your listeners about their products, their companies, and how to get a product experience journey put together with our tool online if they'd like to. My direct email is ken at bluestream.io. Our website is bluestream.io, and that's where the Journey Builder AI platform is up there, and you can try it on your own if you'd like. And if you want to directly get in touch with me, by all means, you can text me at 508 525 0011. And a huge thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, absolutely. No, thank you for being on here and really appreciate it and some great stuff. And I really like the concept of optimizing the post sale or the unwrapping experience because that like we talked about, has so much value and can offer so much value to brands. So for the audience, please stay tuned for many other videos in this series of the backstory on marketing and AI. And definitely, if you get a chance, please visit marketingmachine.prorelevant.com. Thank you so much, Ken. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.